Reason number one of why you are a weak Christian. A few years ago, I moved into a house next door to a warlock who chanted all day and all night. At first, I thought he was mentally ill, but I started noticing weird and evil patterns in the neighborhood. For instance, there was a spirit of anger that would move from house to house like a dog marking its territory. My neighbors in the house on one end of my street would begin to argue. When they stopped, the house next to would begin. One by one, this kept going until the outbursts reached the last house on the street. Sometimes the police would be called, but no one ever got arrested. One morning, a child in her pajamas with no shoes ran to follow her mother down the street. But her mother was dead. One of his sacrifices. A neighbor's dog would stare and bark into hedges or trees, but no one could see anything. I found melted red candle wax in the grass at the outside corners of my house after I'd just anointed the house. A few people were strangely sick and often had the ambulance called for them repeatedly. His youngest victim was a baby who passed away. Meanwhile, I could hear him chanting to his God, while I caught glimpses of him smiling at his work. But one day, I discovered some prayer points against territorial wickedness. I prayed in the morning and at midnight. I prayed when I heard arguments, police, or an ambulance. I declared that no witch, wizard, or warlock would prosper in my environment, and I prayed that he would repent. So after a few months, the neighborhood was quiet. Before I moved out of the neighborhood, I realized that the warlock would not repent. But he was going blind and losing his memory. Many of you live or work in an environment where evil spirits actively keep control and rule over a territory. But you don't pray. You just complain. Because you're weak. Prayer lets the territorial spirits around you know whose authority you walk in. And if you choose not to stand in that authority, they consider you a weak Christian. Do me a favor and tell me in the comments when was the first time that you discovered the spirit realm was real and started praying against evil. Subscribe for more.